Today's draft, without further ado, this year's biggest disappointments. We can go any direction we want, just like we can in any draft that we do. We'll go Peter, Sims, then me. Peter, you get the first pick.
My biggest disappointment is Cam Newton. In 2015, Cam Newton had 3 games in which he threw 5 touchdown passes. In 2020, Cam Newton has played 12 games for the Patriots. He's thrown 5 touchdown passes. And look, I know he's coming off injury. I know it's a new system. I know blah, 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 blah. Cam Newton is the most disappointing single aspect of football this year.
That's harsh. I don't know if I'm totally going to say that, but they were on my list.
Why? Tell me why.
Well,
5 touchdown passes for Cam Newton
I understand
in 12
that.
games?
You're right. Listen, he also had that, the COVID-19 thing too that I think has got to be, talked about as part of that. No off season. Hey, it's up there. I just don't know if I'm going to say it's the most disappointing thing for a team that, was in the playoff conversation just a week ago. But I understand you. I was certainly expecting more there. And like I said, that probably would have came up in my draft too. So I'm not disagreeing with you there. Definitely not. You know what I think's the most disappointing thing of the season for me? Joe Burrow getting hurt. I think that's the number one whammy to me. More than anything I think about. I just go, damn, superstar. Like everything he brings to the table for a Bengals franchise that we know needs a little Joltin' Joe in its life, all right? And Joltin' Joe had me actually intrigued to watch the Bengals on a weekly basis, and the way he handles himself in press conference and just how damn good of a player he is. And I think it hurts me because it might go into next year too. And that's where I look at that and I'm very disappointed.
Yeah, more than just a normal ACL tear, and it could put in jeopardy his availability for 2021. For me, it's Carson Wentz, without question. We've yet to see a quarterback who was drafted so high, played well enough to be in the MVP conversation early in his career, get a huge second contract, and then have it all fall apart. Just a year after, they were 5-7, and they had nothing around Carson Wentz, and he led them to the playoffs. It's confounding. It's inexplicable. And it's disappointing. And it is, for me, the biggest disappointment of the year. And the question now becomes, where does Carson Wentz and where do the Eagles go from here in 2021? One of the big stories of the offseason. All right, on to round 2.
I will pick the Houston Texans in their entirety.
Yeah.
From Bill O'Brien going 0-4 and getting whacked to, the entire controversy over who runs this team. Cal McNair has taken over for his dad and had a very, very lax hand. The Jack Easterby controversy. It's a mess. It's mayhem. And where it could impact the future, even though, in my opinion, if I were Eric Bieniemy and I had my choice of 4 jobs this offseason, I would pick the Houston Texans because they got the one thing that everybody strives to get, and that's the quarterback. We'll figure everything else out. But for right now, the most disappointing single team, in my opinion, this year is the Houston Texans.
Yeah, I hear you there, Peter. I'm going to see your Texans football team and raise you the team just north of them, the Dallas Cowboys. Are you sure? They're as dysfunctional as the Dallas Cowboys are. I think there's been more organizational issues, to your point, with the Houston Texans. But, man, the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, America's disaster this year. What? From everything. First off, Dak Prescott and that whole debacle, the contract breaks his ankle. Now so that was disappointing. Mike McCarthy, supposed to, rejuvenate the Cowboys football team. Bleh, that hasn't done anything. Hiring the wrong defensive coordinator for the players you have on the football field, let alone he gets Tabasco in his eye during a press conference this year. It's just been a disaster there. So that, to me, has been one of the most disappointing things of the 2020 season.
The next one for me, and I'm going to go ahead and put both guys down because I can't pick one or the other, Tom Brady and Antonio Brown. Brady wanted Antonio Brown so badly. He finally got him. When you look at the numbers, Antonio Brown really hasn't done much. And coming out of the bye week, what fascinated me is his playing time plummeted. That is the result of a strategic and conscious decision made by the coaching staff because they had time to sit down and decide what they were going to do. And what they did coming out of the bye is they used Antonio Brown a lot less than they had. So that connection together has been a disappointment. There are aspects of Tom Brady's game that have been disappointing, but this idea that there was going to be this great reunion and they were going to reach new heights, he still doesn't have a touchdown through 5 games with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All right, we got to rocket through round 3. Peter, what do you got?
I was going to pick the New York Jets because they were 0-13, and they provide comic relief almost every week. But I think the other thing I would have to do is I'd have to pick the Atlanta Falcons. And I'd like to identify a single person, but I think this is a collective achievement award. From the whacking of Thomas Dimitroff and Dan Quinn at the beginning of the year, Raheem Morris has given them some life. But it's absurd for the Atlanta Falcons to be 4-9.
Agreed. That was going to be my next pick, Peter. So I'm with you there. I was almost going to
invent one on the fly. Then.
I know. Well, I was going to almost put them and the Jets together, right? Because they had that end of the year last year where we were all like, "Whoa, watch out for these teams," next year. And yeah, it's been crapola. So yes, but I'll go with this. I got one more. The 49ers. Their bad luck, their health, whatever the hell you want to call it. I mean. That's a disappointment. A team that was in the Super Bowl, very young and talented. Not that I expected, but it's just a shame that we didn't ever get to see them close to 100% to see if they could defend their NFC title and make a run and do something special. It's been a disaster, whether it's been injuries or COVID-19 for them all year. So the 49ers' bad luck is certainly a disappointment for me.
I'll stay in California, slide down to L.A., and say the Chargers coaching, the entire coaching staff. And I'm sure some guys have done well. Whoever has gotten through to Justin Herbert, the rookie quarterback, has done great. But all in all, it's a total failure of the coaching staff. Too many bad decisions, special teams gaffes. It seems like every week someone on the coaching staff finds a way to screw things up, and they're going to get everybody fired because they've got a franchise quarterback that makes their job incredibly attractive in 2021.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.